Yeah, everybody, welcome. We are back live again. Let's see if we are live. Should be streaming now. It says excellent connection. So great. Yeah, last week I could not made it to a live stream. There was other thing popping up, but I'm back again. And it's the case that if you missed the live stream, you always can watch it back. And many people do this. In the playlist of YouTube, you can watch the live stream back in case you missed it. And of course, we regularly have very nice presets inside the info section below the YouTube video, in which you can download some presets, which we did a few times. And I see some people popping up inside the chat room here. Yeah, cool. I'm playing a sound, but it's not B.I.T. It's B.I.T, what you are hearing, guys. What I thought about is if you have bit. Let's bring down bit to... Let's see, here. This is a different B.I.T. And I would pick here a pet sound. So that let's simply connect two tracks together, which you essentially could do with Prisma, of course. But I go here to pet sounds. I take a nice Jupiter pet. Let me see where we have it. Or this one. Yeah, this one, okay. And then I could, in Cubase, you can click a second track, and if you use Shift, both tracks are playing. So now combine B.I.T with B.I.T. So it's the pet sound from B.I.T. and this other synth sound from B.I.T. This, by the way, this gliding is something very cool, which I will explain once I can show you B.I.T. with the user interface and show you what you can do. It's the gliding of the partials, because one waveform has a different pitch for one partials and it glides towards it. And that's a very nice side thing which happens if you use a certain mode. Excuse me. So in Prisma, once that's maybe a good idea to have already some Prisma presets with using B.I.T and B.I.T. Nice sound, isn't it? Yeah, I wanted to. We just sent the newsletter, and maybe you heard the. Okay, let's see. Control project. Maybe you heard the very short audio clip I made. Let me see if I can open it. Let me see 1 second. Control P from project. Where is it? Aha, here it is. So let's play it. So this is, maybe you missed my newsletter or didn't see it on Twitter or Facebook. So let's play the first sounds created for B.I.T, and I combine that together with I think 5 or 6 B.I.T playing. So it's mainly about the sound, not about the music, about the sound. So let's have a listen. So this was all Blade 2 with its own effects and nothing added to it. It's purely playing a few tracks. The only thing I did is adding a bit of a maximizer so that you have a nice volume. 10 September. Oh, wrong title. Well, I will change that afterwards. No problem. Yeah, everybody, welcome. If you have a question, drop it. I have one idea which Gerd Browns mentioned, because there was a very nice commercial of a car brand, and this demo was created by Dutch guys. It sounds very 80s, very nice sounds. So I want to go to that one very soon. So, okay, let's go back here. So what I showed, this sound, which you also heard in the demo, is this glide. Okay, maybe I can play a few other ones. You heard also at the end the choir sound, which is, let me see. It's called the Blade Mid Choir. It's a bit noisy, but that's on purpose. Okay, and there was some other sounds, which is the noise block. Yeah, that one was played. This sounds very spacey, isn't it? So yeah, I'm very busy with creating presets now. This is obviously very mild. Very soft. It's of course not it's not really an EDM synthesizer. It's definitely something for synth sounds and that kind of material. You can go very edgy, of course, if you use distortion and creating wobbles. And of course, but yeah, the main power is it's synth sounds. Let me see if I have more. This is also nice. You hear some noise. You have a noise module inside of it, which is nice. And this one I played, I think, already. You hear moving of the sound. So yeah, it's in great progress. So the stage what we are in now is the graphics are ready. We are adding them into the code. And then my work is, of course, doing the sound design and the last bits in the whole process of releasing a new product. Okay, I'm checking here. The chat room, if something, yeah, this ratcheting arpeggiator is also there. Yeah, good point, because you heard that also in the little video, and that one is this preset. Let me see. I'm looking in the bank manager, which should be okay. Still the you hear the ratcheting, and in this preset is the case that the ratcheting is not each time, but first time without, and the second time with ratcheting. So if I start in note now, without, and the next time is, so it's twice the cycle. Making the modulation wheel open, show. Of course, So yeah, it's ratcheting is there. It's the paturator has a big extension. It has sequence A, sequence B, each 16 steps. You have this ratcheting. You can control the X and Y using each step, the position of it. So there are some very cool features, which of course I will show as soon as possible in the live stream. And I see, okay. Yeah, let's go to this very nice piece, because I was last week looking into creating this sound for Gert. So this piece is done by a Dutch company made this music, a very nice piece of music, very 80s, but yeah, well, it's I would say timeless in terms of style. Let's listen.
Let the power of imagination drive you.
Yeah, let the power of imagination, or what it is. Yeah, cool. Why he must talk is, of course, he's in the car commercial. But it's a very nice sound. I'm not sure what they used. So it's a layer sound. First it plays more this solo thing, which you hear back in the end.
Let the power...
So I'm not sure. I hear a little bit of swirling. And the sound could be a second oscillator, which is very soft inside. But this one is already a bit too much. Also, it could be maybe a notch filter behind it, which also gives a certain sound to it. So let's see if we add a notch filter behind the first filter. 12 dB notch would do. 12 dB notch. So yeah, so let's play it again. Well, it could be is of course maybe, I don't know which synthesizer they use.
Let the power of imagination drive you.
That's very hard. So so it sounds out. Then of course the filter setting is important. Long release. Yeah, I'm not sure about the second oscillator. Maybe that one should move, so the second filter. So it would be something like this. I would say this one, Sigma Sound 1. Save preset. So later on, you hear a brassy sound, which is a layer on it. So you hear a whistle sound, which goes down. And then you really had this this big, more fat sound. So that would be more something which would be like this. So let me see if we can maybe find this here in this one. as a starting point. So that more a sound like this. So I need to play higher. Okay. Now getting close to it. So I need to. That's your first sound. And now you get this bigger one. Something like this. Obviously, this one is softer because the other one's a bit louder. Or maybe the music should be a bit turned down. Is of course what they do with music for commercials. They really compress it so that it's as loud as possible. And of course, that makes that the differences between it's more compromised. That makes also the impression of the sound different. Okay, now back again. It's something like this. Yeah. It's not 100%, which is of course. Yeah, for the same reason they use anything what it could be. But I save this one, save preset as in folder, so I make it downloadable. Let's save it. Okay. Put it in my personal bank. You can throw it, of course, if you download this zip file. You can copy it into the bank folder on your own location. So, commercial. Now, that's a bit weird name. Let's see it. Car theme, I call it. So, bit louder. So maybe the other one is a bit more filtered, a bit less. Let's play it together. No, it's pretty close. So let's see what Gert says about the sound. I'm not sure what they're using, but it's pretty much a very analogish sound. So it could be analog synthesizer, could be a virtual one that's very hard to hear in the music. So yeah, maybe some of the other sounds you like interesting. The bass is also nice, which you hear in the start. Has a nice delay. It's more SH101 type bass. So when I go here to basses, yeah, that's already very close. Only they have this delay. Only I don't know which tempo they use. So maybe with a sub-oscillator. So let's hear what it's. Yeah, it's not really close to it. It's a bit I don't know which delay they use, but they use a delay which makes it really left-right, very extreme, this bass. It's one mono delay. Or maybe no feedback. Let's see. That's something similar, maybe a bit more brighter. So that's a bit of the bass type. Of course, yeah, it takes some more hours to make it even more suitable, but I will save this one also, save bass in folder. Go again down here, and I have created my own folder. So it goes to the bank folder, Rob Live, okay, and I call this one car bass. So these three presets, we go to the manager, you can see it's the car bass, car theme, and I called it Sigma Sound. Yeah. The down whistle, yeah, that's let's see if maybe it's inside whistle. Yeah, maybe that one was because they do a pitch with it. So what you could do is then bend down 1 octave. That's what they do. And then you do the same. It fades in. In hip-hop, they use a lot of these whistle sounds. But then without reverb. It's always dry. Yeah, the way Jeff War of the Worlds. Yeah, that's a good one. That is maybe a sound to investigate. I think they used a Minimoog for that. I'm not sure, but so I need to pick up this. Yeah, tamine is essentially also a sinus waveform, and only the tamine is more and then more portamento. So if you increase the attack, legato mode it is, and yeah, essentially it could be a constant rate or constant time. Let me see what would be best. Constant time, you have each time the same time. If it is between two notes which are close to each other or far from each other, it's each time the same. And rate, it depends on the distance of the okay. Okay, I have a lot of keyboard noise. Let's play it. So it's a very long attack time. And then I increase the portamento. It's in legato mode, so I also need to play legato. There are even different high legato high. I'm not sure which one is most suitable with the legato. It's of course you need to be careful that you don't let go the note, otherwise And of course, you could switch to constant time. Let's see how that works. You see, I was not legato. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? So this is the whistle lead, the so without noise, and then increase the attack and yeah, change the play mode. So when I go click original, you have. There's also a little pitch glide, which is inside the advanced panel. So here it's the oscillator one. You hear that one? You see here there's a ring around it, so it means that little amount, it does a whoop. That's too much. That's because if somebody whistles, not everybody hits the note on the right spot, so it's mostly an upglide to it. And then you have the sound. So if I would bypass it, simply by double-click the amount, it's different than if you have this little pitch glide. Okay, so and this one is without noise. The other one is with noise. Isn't it nice? Yeah. A lot of whistles. Okay, I'm checking the chat room. Oh, somebody's mentioned that's maybe the Arp Odyssey also could be, of course, in this War of the Worlds. It's a really totally brilliant record. It's a very nice orchestration, great, very well done. Yeah, it's also a Doctor Who. That's also the type of sound. I have to create a Halloween patch set. Yeah, that would be cool. Oh yes. Yeah. Okay, guys. So yeah, if you have a question, drop it. We had, of course, these sounds already now. Maybe you have an idea about what we could do. Of course, I cannot download now any other songs which we could reproduce. So maybe for next week, this War of the Worlds would be an interesting idea. But if you have maybe another idea, simply send an email to info@papen.com and we can look into it. Okay, so yeah, once we are to it, we were with B.I.T. In the beginning, we had a bit more. Let's see if I go to a different bar. We have still some sequences playing around. Let's see how that works. Because I did not show you that this was a very nice sound from SubBoomBass-2. It's a good one. This is Bass Punish 06, uses FM. So oscillator 1 is modulating frequency modulation, which is generating this really punch. Now you see here, this is totally messed up because this is a beta version with ratcheting. Oops, what's happening now? Yes, we will be adding ratcheting to SubBoomBass-2. So what you see here is already a mock-up, so that we see where to place things. This is a bit too big, you know, so it's not really as it should be. So when I go to this track what I did, and that's maybe also a nice tip for you. So I simply start first with a different bass, which in the older times I did with the sequence, I make only one step. And then it suddenly went from 1-step sequence to 8-step sequence. Of course, in the sequencer, you need to play this. So you see that down here, the notes. And then it starts the sequence. And of course, that's another tip. If you have a delay on a bass, a stereo delay is possible, but maybe each too much room. And to avoid that the delay and the bass are getting too muddy, we added inside our delay always a high pass filter and a low pass filter. So let me show you. This is a mono delay. And if I would open the low pass filter and the high pass filter, close it, so no high pass, it's possible, but it doubles the bass, so it's less subtle. It's also might generate some peaks in the sound. So what I do is make the delay a bit more anti-hi-fi, so a bit muddier, which is doing by the low pass filter, and adding a bit of high pass filter for the low end so that it not interferes with the original bass. So now it's really adding a rhythm without interfering the bass component. So that's a little trick. So don't be shy to use also a mono delay on your track next to a stereo delay, because otherwise it's going to be maybe too wild, flying left and right around. So it's the low pass filter for adding a bit of the high end, and the high pass filter. Essentially, when we started creating music, we only had analog delays, and they always sounded like hello, hello. But in the music, it worked great because they were not too much in brightness to interfere. They added a kind of groove. So when I go here and go here for the sequencer, I can do in the play mode, go to the sequencer. And you see, this will be in SubBoomBass-2 very soon, ratcheting. So here's the ratcheting mode. You can select then on-off cycle, and here I can add then. Okay, now I'll make it on. Okay. Playing, and what we did is of course different types. So this off-on cycle makes it more musical, and of course you have then a 2 off, 1 on cycle, off, and 1 on cycle. So this ratcheting mode, and this will be the same also in Blade 2 once it comes out. Now this is a mock-up, so it's not the final version, but you see we have found some additional room for having ratcheting, and that will be added to an update of SubBoomBass-2. When it will be out, it's unsure, because what we also want to do is add some additional new samples. We have the Taba samples, and they are great for using as a bass. So that's also planned. So okay, let's go back to what it was. Okay. Now I need to put off the sequencer again and go to, yeah, the original. And it was a bit longer. And that's also something. The amplifier, the attack, decay, sustain, and reads really have influence also on the rhythm feel. You hear that? But really important. And every synthesizer has this volume amplifier envelope. So if you're using sequencer, always watch for adding this one in a more tweaked way. So the other sound we heard was also, which I was tweaking, is this B.I.T sound, which is not a preset. Simply made from the pad sound. And also here, you see how much difference. Here is again the amp section with attack, decay, and sustain. How much you can do with that. So even if you go to, let's see, I go back to this preset. Okay, I reselect it again. So now I have a pad sound. Now it's of course too long, attack. One octave too low, go up. I don't know what the original sound was. Yeah, it's not matching as it should be, but okay. Maybe the sequence was a bit strange what I played here. Okay, somebody's asking about this FM. Well, essentially, let's go back to this sound, which is doing... The cool thing about FM sound is, and maybe you can recall if you have the DX7 or a FM7 or Bluetooth, that the sounds are very punchy. They have a really very punchy sound to it. The percussive sounds are great to create using FM synthesis. Now in in SubBoomBass-2 we have two oscillators, and we make it the case that it is possible to modulate one oscillator by another. And therefore we have this button here, go to the filter or don't go into the filter. So in this preset you see it's off, because the oscillator here most likely will be on a very high frequency, and what it does is modulating the oscillator too. So if I shut down the FX now, bypass all, so now I have the clean bass. Okay, when I shut down oscillator 1, you hear that oscillator 2 is a half sinus. But now the percussive thing of the whole sound is gone, because that was created by this oscillator 1 modulating oscillator 2. Well, if you do this and you don't have an envelope which is controlling the volume of this modulating oscillator, so the volume of oscillator 1, then it wouldn't sound that as it is now. So you see, when I go to the envelopes, you see that the envelope 1, is a free envelope, is controlling the volume of this oscillator. Because if I shut this down, listen what happens. It's modulating the oscillator 2, but it doesn't have this percussive sound. To get this percussive sound, this modulation only needs to be on a very short time. So with the decay, sustain is closed. And now you have this. And of course, with FM synthesis, you go a lot more up with the semi-tuning. So you see here the semi-tuning in the upper readout is plus 28. And yeah, if you see something like this type of sound, so if you go to this bass punish 06, which you can find in the bass preset 02, just play around with the semitone. Go to this envelope, which is controlling this volume, and change the decay. So you have a lot of sound options. If I play it again, okay. volume also has influence. So, and then when I go here, it's of course, the modulation is also controlled here. It's not only the volume. So essentially you have two volumes. You have also the control here. So essentially, by the way, this FM synthesis is phase distortion. Essentially, it's not really frequency modulation, but whatever. It is the most effective one, which is the same as in a DX7 or a Casio, because essentially they call it frequency modulation, but it is phase modulation what actually happens, and which also generates the sound. But you could also use ring. But you see that one doesn't generate a good sound because it's too short. Ring is a combination of the two oscillators. You can use the filter throwing back to oscillator 2. You see oscillator 1 has no influence anymore now. Or the string feedback. Let me see where that one was. I think that's... Oh, that's only if the string is used. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, essentially the FM is a two-operator FM synthesizer. But the original, the basic sound of SubBoomBass-2 is very, let's say, very full. So we still have a very full sound, even if it is the... only two oscillators in an FM setup, because normally you see FM setup with 4 operators or 6 operators. But you can see this way you can still use it. So it was the Punish 06. There are more of these type sounds. Let me see if... let me see if there's more. This is also, you see also here, oscillator 1 goes not to the filter, but modulates oscillator 2 with FM. Now you hear this typically FM sound. So it's of course a matter of taste, this volume of this oscillator and this amount. Of course, you can also do it here, or essentially volume here or volume there are equal in results. But the trick is to have this, and you see it here again, the free envelope 1. See, this one controls the volume of oscillator 1. I changed here. I think why it's not working anymore. It's yeah, you see, by simply, because normally if you have two oscillators and it goes to the filter, not always works. So if an FM setup, what we are doing here, so it's really essential that you can shut it down from going into the filter, because you use the oscillator 1 to modulate oscillator 2. Okay, so that about the FM synthesis. I see some questions popping up. Save preset, which one? Yeah, because this one, it's a deep house bass. Yeah, are you sure? So this one. Or maybe shorter? Okay, let me know if it's this one, because then I can save it, of course. That's not a problem. So it's K Fa. Yeah, this one. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna save this one. Save preset in folder. I need to see where to place it. Let me see. Where am I? I need to place it somewhere. Blank bank. Oh, I put it in here. Okay. And I call it, let's call it September FM bass or deep house. Okay, they call it deep house. Deep house bass. Deep house FM. There it is. Of course, you can add yourself chorus to it. I will not save it, but nasty sound. Okay, I make it downloadable. So the two sounds we had for B.I.T and this for SubBoomBass-2 Deep House FM bass. Okay. Now, somebody had a question about B.I.T. Is it possible to adjust the sound of the flute-like Ottavanian hands up on a bit synthesizer? Not sure what you mean by that. The sound of the flute-like Ottavan hands up. Yeah. Yeah, you need to explain a bit more. In the meantime, they ask about this. Yeah, if you can, I can make a variation by adding a 24 dB low pass filter. Envelope. Hey, what's happening here? Oh boy. What is happening here? Ah, inverse bass. This is inverse envelope. So now you got a filter. Yeah, it's so something like this. So with okay, this is save preset as. I will make this number 2. Yeah, this metal grainy sound, that's from the FM synthesis, because if I shut down this oscillator, yeah, that's a typically FM sound, absolutely. Casio, yeah, that's totally the same. It's the phase distortion, because it's called here FM synthesis, FM modulation, but essentially it's the phase which is modulated, which is also happening in the Yamaha DX7. So, okay, so about this B.I.T sound, I have to look this up. This lead sound from the 70s, Odd One, group Odd One. I have to look it up, and maybe we can do this next week. So that would be a good idea. Okay, yeah, maybe there are more FM sounds. Rename this one, make this one 8. Of course, what I need to do, of course, is having the set category. It's an FM bass. Hey, that's cool. Also an FM bass. Yeah, nice. It's not dark, it's bright. This one is also bright. So, yeah, we tag them also. Yes. The disco sound is a fluty sound. Yeah, I have the need to check it out. Never heard of it. Maybe when I hear the music that I recognize it. So, checking here from maybe. Okay. It sounds very analog. Yeah, I'm looking for maybe some more FM sounds. Singing the bass preset. Yeah, this is of course also here. You also hear a punchy. But that one is by a tube. And this tube I did sample. It was laying down in the home of the sister of my wife. They were breaking down things. They were building something in their house, and there was a tube, a PVC tube. I dropped it, recorded it, tuned it, and it's nice for having a. So this is a combination of a normal synthesizer, a virtual analog oscillator together with a sampled sound. No, this is not a newer version. This is the same version of SubBoomBass-2, but I opened it because I used it in this background music. You see, it really adds a nice percussive sound to it. And so we dropped into SubBoomBass-2 while doing the live stream, which often happens that we go from one thing to another thing, and people in the chat room derail me, which is cool. And then now we dive into SubBoomBass-2 and talked about FM synthesis. And that's the fun, of course, of the live stream, that people can ask a question and let's look into certain things. So this sequencer is the newer one, which is now a mock-up, but we will get this ratcheting inside of it very soon, which also be part of Blade 2. So that is the thing about SubBoomBass-2. It's great. I mean, I think that's one thing. It's great for doing classic mini-moog basses. Okay, like this, or... And also with the gliding. I need to shut down my microphone. So that's this typical minimal gliding thing. And you see, it's a very good original sound. There's no additional effects on it. It's really a dry sound like an original mini-moog. And even without effects, a bass can work very well in your music. And of course, you can make it more spacey by simply adding, a nice delay. Yeah, it's of course with bass. It's a good point. Winston mentioned why I keep to prefer my bass dry in the mix. Yeah, definitely. Sometimes you can use a bit of delay, but reverb would be not a good plan. Only if it's the kind of effect bass. Yeah, it's a great alternative if you don't have the money for original mini moog, and it's of course also the case if you have a nice sound like this one, you can store it, and that's not possible with an original mini moog. So here we have some sub bass preset with having very low reverb, but that's more an FX sound like the Abyss. It's of course nice if you're doing some movie. Yeah, so okay guys, we are almost at the end of the live stream. Make it thumbs up if you like it. I hope you like it, and I will go out of course with this little demo song of B.I.T. And check out the newsletter today. Oops, cancel. We did send the newsletter today. There you can click the image for B.I.T, and you also will see the easy page, because with B.I.T it's a very deep synthesizer. It's having also an easy page. So if you have a nice preset, easy page, you toggle a bit of it and you already have a very different variation sounds. So yeah, I hope to see you back next week. And as promised, of course, the moment when we have a user interface, then I will have it playing and yeah, showing it in the live stream. Maybe it's next week, maybe it takes a bit longer. Currently, everything goes well, and as you heard, all the sounds which you heard now in this little song or little piece of things where I play some of the presets, that they are the only new B.I.T presets. Thanks for watching, and see you next week. And again, the playlist live stream, there you can find this one back if you maybe a bit later on in this live stream. Stay safe and enjoy creating music.